We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
1, 0, all engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Good evening from Space City, Houston, Texas. Hi, Geeta. Thanks for joining. This is Orbit at a Tilt, the show about space and science that is fun and easy to understand. I'm your host, Adam Tilted. And today is going to be a little bit of a different kind of show. So, I don't know how it's going to go, but we're going to try it out. First, I'm going to go over some sky watching events that will be fun to look at. Again, the moon and the planets are going to be giving us a show. Then, I want to have a discussion about what you think about this topic. Are we alone in the universe? I don't know if people are going to be on to have this discussion with me or not. We're going to see. All right. So if you're watching the replay, that means that I kept this post and there was a great discussion, but you might have to fast forward. And hopefully by the time you're watching this, I will have updated the description to let you know at what point we start having the awesome discussion. Okay? And if that doesn't happen this time, then we'll try it again another time. Welcome to my new studio. Isn't this great? It's obviously not finished decorating. I've just moved in. The place is a mess. But I've got a lot more space, and that's exciting because I plan to do some science experiments with you live online. So I needed a little bit more space because I want to set up some experiments that we'll leave sitting for a while. We'll check in on from time to time. So now I have that space. Once I get that organized, I'll be back to tell you more about those experiments. But let's take a look at the night sky first, because once again, I mean, the planet party that's going on is great. Thank you, Niffer. And if you would please share this, that would be awesome if you would share this video out so that more people can see it. This is the night sky looking to the west. I'll move it over here a little bit. This is from Houston. If you are in North America, your view will not be that much different from this. If you are not in North America, then your view may be substantially different than this. So keep that in mind. I'm going to move time ahead. This is the current time, but I'm going to move time ahead so we can see what happens after the sun goes down, because that's when some of the fun is going to begin. Zoom back out here. Again, we've got this beautiful lineup of planets. Let me move my big head out of the way. This gorgeous array of planets from horizon to horizon, starting with Venus over here in the west, Jupiter, bright in the sky, but starting to set a little earlier in the night. So if you're going to be looking at Jupiter with a backyard telescope, now's the time to do it. Saturn up here near the moon. Now, if you're looking for Saturn is not as bright as it seems in this simulation. Hi, Kathy. I'm glad that you're here too. I hope you stick around for the conversation about life elsewhere in the universe. If you're looking for Saturn and you can't find it, draw an imaginary line between the moon and Antares, that bright orange star, or the moon and Jupiter. All right. Either one of those, if you draw an imaginary line, you can see that it's going to be really close to where Saturn is. It's going to look kind of like a pale yellow. And then the moon, of course. The moon is... Hold on. The moon is nearing full. So we have a waxing gibbous moon right now. It's waxing because it's getting closer to full. It's gibbous because it's more than half lit. And full moon will be on Saturday. We've also got a great look at Mars. Big. It's very bright. Very easy to spot. Look for the bright red star in the east, moving to the south as the night goes on. All right, and I just want to show you this moon path as we continue to go through the week. You can see, I know what's happening. Hold on, sorry, I'm having a little problem with my, there we go. All right, so as we go through, as we go through the different days, you'll see that tomorrow evening, the moon will be near Mars, getting closer to Mars. That's going to be nice. And then as it approaches full, it's going to be going off to the other side and start shrinking down to a crescent again. Okay. So don't forget, take a look at the night sky if you're out. There may still be some stray meteors from either the Perseid meteor shower still, or there's a new meteor shower that just started. And let me look for that real quick, because I forgot what the name of it is. By the way, I'm going to do a little app review. Some of these apps that I use. This is Starwalk. I'm going to do a little review of this app so you can see how it works. Sure, Geeta, you can ask away. Sorry, I'm looking for the it's one of the Aquarians, I think. I can't remember which meteor shower. But anyway, go out and take a look for meteors. There's a good chance that you're going to see one. All right, I'm waiting for Geeta's question. While I do, let's talk about this question. Are we alone in the universe? It's a hard question because we have a sample size of 1. We know there's life here. And we know that everywhere on Earth that we've found liquid water, we have found things that are alive. We've also found evidence of water in other places in our solar system, but we have yet to discover any evidence of life. On the other hand, it's a big universe. If we think about just our galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy all by itself has 2 billion stars. Now, we've learned a lot about stars and planets, and I see your question, Geeta. I'm going to get to that in a second. It's a good question. From what we've learned, we can estimate that there's probably, on average, 1 habitable planet per star. So that means that in our galaxy, there are potentially 200 billion planets that have the ability to support life. So one theory is that, hi Kim, is that, well, if that, hi Jake, I didn't even know he was back there. That just from the odds of this, there are so many planets that there must be life on some of them. Otherwise, what makes us so special out of all the... And we're not... Think about the other galaxies. This 200 billion number, that's just the Milky Way galaxy. And we know that there are billions of galaxies in the observable universe. So that those numbers are... It's hard to accept that we could be the only one out of all those stars, the only one. All right. But that same argument can be used to argue against the existence of alien life forms, at least intelligent ones, because where are they? Where is their stuff? The universe has been around for a long time. The galaxy has been around for a long time. So there has been plenty of time for a civilization to rise, develop the necessary technology to send probes. We've sent probes out. We even have probes that have left our solar system and are now on their way to, the space between the stars, and will eventually probably run into another solar system somewhere out there. And it may be millions of years from now. But so what? Millions of years. The solar system is 4.5 billion years old. So millions of years, that's nothing. Even if it took 20 million years for Voyager 2 to cross the entire Milky Way galaxy, you'd think someone would see it if they were out there, right? So if there are other civilizations that are out there, where's their stuff? We should see it. And because we don't, then it must mean that the odds of life must be very small. And we are the only ones. Okay, so those are the two arguments based on the same data. So what do you think? Well, now, while I'm waiting for your answers on that, I'm going to go back to Gita's question here, because she asks an interesting question about space junk. Okay, let me see if I can make this a little bit easier for everyone to read. All right, the junk left in space from satellites, how does this affect the change in space? And she is talking about magnetic interference. Probably not much, because space is so vast and this is so small. But I don't know that we really know the answer to that question. I mean, people used to make that argument about the ocean. Throw your trash in the ocean, doesn't matter, it's so big, this little bit of trash isn't it. But now we know that is not true. So I don't know. Space junk is a big problem, and if we don't get a handle on it soon, we're going to be trapped here because there's going to be too much space junk orbiting. We won't be able to get out. So let's see what Kathy says. We've been to a place if they they have received interesting. Are you talking about SETI? And I'd like to know more information about that, because that sounds interesting and I haven't heard that. So this argument here against the existence of intelligent life that's called the Fermi paradox. And there are some, there is a kind of a third option, but it's a little depressing. The third option is that there is life out there, but something happens to a civilization before it reaches the capability to travel to different stars that causes it to go extinct. I also think that I don't know that people fully grasp the vastness of space, because consider this. I think the closest let me find Alpha Centauri. I want to know how far away that's the closest one. Well, Alpha Proxima, really, but okay, it is, how far away is it? It is almost 4.5 light years away. All right. So don't forget that space and time are the same. All right, so even if we have the capability to travel the speed of light, it would take us 4 years to get to the nearest star. That means that if we sent a message to the nearest star, it would take 4 years to get there and 4 years to get back. Okay? That's the nearest star. Most stars are much further away than that. The closest star to us that we think has a planet that is habitable, I believe, is over 10 light years away. And then we get to stars that are, hundreds of light years away. That's just not practical unless you're going to build a generational ship and take, hundreds of years to get there. So I'm thinking, the opposite is true for other aliens that might be out there, right? If they'd have to build the technology to go faster than light in order for travel between the stars to even make any kind of sense. But then you're also dealing with time. Because if I travel faster than light to a star that is 100 light years away, then 100 years are still going to pass on Earth. Even though that much time will not pass for me because I'm going faster than the speed of light. That might have exploded your brain. But that's one of the effects of relativity. Is that time is relative to your speed. So the faster you go, the slower time moves. So that's weird. So even if we could do it, we would, let's say that I got on a spaceship that went faster than light and I was able to go visit a star that's 100 light years away and it took me 2 days. And for me, it would be 2 days, but back here on Earth, 100 years would have passed. So doesn't make much sense for it to be a two-way thing. However, in the 200,000 years that we have been, I see your question, Gita, and I'm going to get to it. We've only been around for 200,000 years, so that's just a blip. I mean, that's not even 500,000 years. So, who knows? Maybe we've just missed it. Or maybe we're the first. Maybe we're the first ones. I don't know. I personally believe that there are other intelligent things out there. Maybe not in our galaxy, but they're just so far away we'll never know about them. That's what I think. I kind of hope I'm wrong, although if aliens are anything like us, it probably would not be good news for them to visit because we tend to conquer things. Conquer peoples that are less sophisticated than we are. All right, so Gita, you want to know why it stays close to the Earth and will not leave. Great question, and that is because of the Earth's gravity. So I had one, and now I've moved everything around. I don't know where it is. But let's talk about how to get into orbit again just real quick. Imagine this is the Earth, and this is a rocket. All right, if you shoot a rocket up, it's going to come back down, right? If you shoot it up, but to the side with enough speed, when it comes back down, it's going to miss. And it's going to go... That's called free fall. And I don't know. This is not a good way. That's called free fall. And those objects are in that orbit. Now, some of them, their orbit may eventually decay if they're low enough because the atmosphere, it's not a sharp break. It just kind of fades away. And so some of them may be dragging a little bit, and if their orbit slows down enough, then they fall and will burn up in the atmosphere. If some of them get a little nudge, which is possible, like if two of them bump into each other and one of them goes off into another trajectory, then it could fling off into out of the Earth's orbit. Not likely, though. These are pretty small objects compared to the Earth, and they don't have very much mass. So they're going to be very drawn to stay in orbit around the Earth. So we need to move them out somehow. There is no gravity in space. Yes, Gita, there is. Every object in space, every object produces gravity. Gravity is a curvature of space, actually, according to Einstein. And there have been many experiments that have confirmed his prediction. So yeah, there is gravity in space, and it is warped by the presence of the Earth. The space, the fabric of space-time is warped, and so kind of creates like a little well. It's not really shaped like that, but that's what's happening conceptually, is that those things are stuck in the gravity that's exerted by the Earth, and that does extend into space. That's why the moon stays in orbit around the Earth, is because it's captured by the Earth's gravity as well. Kim, I would love to be on with you when you're at Roswell. I would love that. Let me know what your schedule is, and I will do my best to be available. That would be fun. Okay, so we had a great discussion. This was awesome. We didn't even have to wait. So watch away. That's not what I meant to say. I meant share away so other people can watch and join in the conversation. If you're watching the replay, I want to know what your thoughts are on this, even though we didn't get to talk about it live. And we may continue this conversation again later because there's more to talk about. There's a lot of people who have theorized on this topic, and it has fascinated scientists, artists, that question. Are we alone? Are we really the only ones in this entire universe? I don't think so. But will we ever know? I don't know. That's what kills me. I'm afraid we'll never know. But we'll do the best we can. In the meantime, don't forget to look up. I'll catch you again. I'm Adam Tilted, and I will see you next week for a brand new episode. Take care. Bye.